Yo guys, what's up? Today I have sort of a unique video for you guys. It's a video I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm not sure if this is the correct way to tackle it, but I'm still going to try to tackle it the best that I can. I've been trying to get my friends into fighting games for quite some time now, and I've been very unsuccessful. And the thing that always comes up when trying to start in this genre is the fact that nobody wants to lose, or they don't have the time to dedicate to being good, which I think is completely false, because if you go in with the right mindset and use your time efficiently, you can achieve just as much as anybody else in this community. So while I can't convince my friends, I'm hoping that I can convince some new players out there picking up the genre for the first time with my journey to show you that, hey, somebody was just as bad as me, and they ended up getting to this point in a fighting game by just applying themselves and getting help and just making small adjustments, improvements over time. Anybody can do this no matter how much time that you have. I truly believe that. And today I'm going to give you guys a glimpse, a small glimpse into my journey through fighting games. So let's get after it. This is going to be from one of the first tournaments I ever did. I think this might have been my second bracket of any fighting game ever, but I just wanted to put myself out there in a competitive environment. So I started from being absolutely terrible and just putting myself out there. And I think that's important because bracket nerves are different than, you know, casual or ranked nerves, right? So here's my first game. I want to kind of go over it with you guys and show you how I had no sense of purpose, direction, anything. I'm just out there throwing hands. So I intended to show my friend all these videos, actually, to give him a reason as to, you know, stick with it, keep grinding, keep going. So, hey, maybe he'll end up watching this. I don't know. But I want to show you guys my very first match. I'm probably only going to play one round of each of these earlier ones because, let's face it, all the rounds are pretty much the same and you guys can get the basic idea. So let's dig into one of my first bracket sets ever and you guys can see how embarrassing it is. Alright guys, so here we go. Obviously, back in those days we were letting the intros rock, which I love. But yeah, I'm going to show just the first game of this set just so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. I'm going to kind of explain what's kind of happening, but I'm just mashing. So, you know, I know how to use my fireball for space, right, which is good. I know how to kind of DP, but here I am. I'm just swinging for the fences. Universal overheads over and over. 5Us over and over. No sense of frame data, no sense of how to play neutral. I'm just going out there and I'm pushing buttons. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think that's one of the best things you can do. Just go out there, push some buttons, see what works, see what doesn't work. I'm new, so like frame data to me right now honestly just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I just need to get used to pressing my buttons and what they do. And I will say, looking back at this, I think that was one of the best things that I could have done at the time. Obviously, I did watch videos beforehand, before going into bracket, and I've been practicing in training tool and kind of like trying to understand neutral to some extent. And as you can see, I had some form of baby combos. I didn't really have great corner combos at all. I didn't even think I had a corner combo, but I was like, if I hit this auto combo, I can go immediately into a DP or a Rekka, right? So here's me, you know, I'm fighting for my life. Luckily, this player was, you know, in the same skill bracket as me, so that kind of helped nerves a little bit too, because I was like in there, it's like, okay, I'm not going against some crazy, you know, good player. I'm playing somebody that's just starting out, just like me, which honestly was awesome. As you can see here, I'm holding the block button, I'm trying to anti-air, I'm trying to apply all these different things, right? Right there, I went overhead into overhead. When I would have got that counter hit, I could have, you know, comboed after that. There's me not finishing a combo and then me mashing right after. I'm doing a ton of mashing. At this point, I'm super stoked, obviously, because I got a win. But, like, looking back at this, it's like there was no rhyme or reason to my movement. There was no consistency, right? So it's me just swinging for the fences. But I was able to actually win this set in full, and that was pretty cool. So let's go on to the next bracket match that I have for you, where I'm just a tiny bit better. All right, guys, here we are at NLBC tournament that I was a part of. I think this was like number 35 or something like that. I am slightly better than I was before. I reached B5 rank, and let's see the differences in my gameplay. I'm using some fireballs on neutral. I'm jumping. I'm still doing the instant overhead, as you guys can see. Not great, but some minor improvements so far. I'm DPing to get pressure off me. I'm still using that overhead just a bit too much. But here we go. We get a nice jump in, and it's like, wow, I actually confirmed a combo here. While it's minor, I did it. And then I ran in and I did a throw, and I'm trying to apply pressure in the best way that I know how, because let's face it, the last one I was not. So there's, as you can see, there's a little bit more of footsies here, right? Like I'm getting a little bit better at footsies. I'm getting a little bit better at spacings with my opponent. While my pressure isn't super good, you can see minor improvements, and this was over just a very short period of playing. So if you just keep consistent at it, good things can happen. And key is not a pushover by any means. I was very close to actually winning this round, but I still made some very big mistakes that led to me losing this round. It wasn't just this one mistake here. It was a bunch of tiny mistakes. And you have to remember that those tiny mistakes that you make throughout a match are all areas where you can try to make improvements, right? Not one decision loses you a match, normally. It's a bunch of little decisions, little mistakes that end up leading to whether you win or lose. But here you go. Like, I'm trying to use my normals in the correct ranges. I'm trying to run up and throw. Obviously, I whiff there. I use a good DP on wake up to get him off of me. I'm still using the overhead way too much. Now, me getting grabbed and put into the corner, that's awful. Later down the line, I learned how to kind of defend against that by either shimmying, right? Which we'll get into like these FGC terms here a little bit later, but it's like, oh, I get my DP blocked. He tried to air throw me, which is insane, right? But like here, I'm trying to use a fireball to be able to run in behind. So you can kind of see my thought process is starting to get better, right? I was getting closer, and this game felt great because he is no pushover at all. He's a very good player at the time, way better than I was, and for me to even be somewhat close was a big win for me. While I didn't end up winning this set, I got 0-2'd. I went 0-2 in the bracket, out early. I could see the improvements that I was making, even though they were super minute, right? But it was starting to lead to more crisp gameplay. I wasn't just throwing a bunch of random stuff out. I was still throwing random stuff out, right? But instead of it being this large, it was this large, right? So that little difference can mean a lot. So the next one I kind of want to show you, because I'm not going to show you full sets right now. I'll probably end up showing you a couple full sets towards the end of the video where I go into more depth and you guys can kind of see the improvement that I'm making, and I'll literally talk to you about the things that are different and why they're different and kind of how I slowly got into making those changes, right? Because I wasn't playing these games 24/7 like everybody thinks that I was. Like, I was working a full-time job. I was still coming home and drawing and doing all of my other hobbies, right? I just sat aside time, whether it was like an hour or, you know, 2 hours, whatever. Maybe that first hour where I'm playing, or first half hour, I'm in there labbing. I'm trying to figure things out, right? Okay, why is this poke not working? Why is, you know, this setup not working? Hey, I just watched a video on pokes. Let's go try to apply that, right? I just watched this video on hit confirms. Well, I'm going to spend the first half hour today drilling hit confirms, right? Or I just learned this new corner combo. I keep dropping it. Why do I keep dropping it? It's like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go and try to get that combo 10 times in a row without dropping it. If I drop it, I have to start over. Things like that. Drills are super important and can really help you in the grand scheme of things. And so is labbing. Labbing can be fun. I know a lot of people kind of don't like to lab, and labbing can be fun if you approach it in the right way, right? So I just want to get that kind of like established and out of the way, that like I wasn't, you know, playing these games nonstop. I was playing them consistently though, right? While doing all my other things that I like to do, you know, outside of work. You know, I was still working out. I still work out, right? I'm still doing all these things, and I'm still finding just small amounts of time to grind this game out and just grind fighting games out and taking it at a consistent and slow pace, right? As to not overwhelm myself. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I got overwhelmed at points, right? But it's important to sit back and just think things through. Take a moment, take a deep breath, realize how far you've come. Like, I would look back at things like this. I haven't looked at these in a while, but like, it makes me feel good to see how far I've come within a short time frame. You know, now it's 5 years down the road, but still, there's people out there that have been playing these games for 15, 20 years, and it's like, now I'm on par with some of them, you know what I mean? Obviously, I can always get better, and there's people better than me, right? Because if there was nobody better than me, then, like, who do I measure up against? How do I improve, right? And you want to play against better players, because that is what helps break you past, you know, your sticking points or your plateaus, right? So I just want you guys to keep these things in mind as we move forward. So let's get on to my next tournament match, where I'm just, again, slightly a bit better. Alright guys, I thought it was important that I put a match like this in the video. I am going against a pro player here that has won Evo and Tekken, and I'm a B player. He's a master player, he's a pro, and I'm in a tournament against this guy. Obviously, I'm intimidated, right? But I still went out there, I still tried my best. Obviously, I was going through it in this match, right? And the commentators even knew that, and they were trying to like talk me off the cliff, which they did, right? But, you know, I was going through it. I was like super nervous. I was trying my best. See how I'm trying to use like movement here and some spot dodges to get in. Obviously, I wasn't great at playing against Zeta's Fireball, right? So after this, obviously I went in and I was like trying to understand how do I play against this Fireball? Is it better to just inch myself forward? Is it better to just spot dodge and slowly move forward, right? But obviously, as you can see here, there's no breathing room for me. This guy is giving me no chance, and I'm glad that he gave me no chance. Obviously, it's a competitive environment. I have to try to make my own improvements and my own mistakes and like try to figure out why this is happening. Obviously, my pressure here is not intimidating, right? I'm -4 after an auto combo. He knows that he can take advantage of that. It's not my turn anymore, and I'm still trying to take my turn, right? And as you can see, this match was super fast, right? I went against an Evo champion, and I got absolutely smoked. Obviously, I'm a B player. I'm a legit beginner. But the fact of the matter is I still went out there, and I still played, and I was okay afterwards, right? And the best part, I end up coming back for more. I actually end up asking Gandito for help. Like, hey, I know I got ran over. What can I do? Like, what do you suggest? And he was more than happy to help me out. Ask questions. The biggest thing that you can ever do is, one, don't complain, because there is a reason that you're getting hit. There is a reason that you are getting smoked, and there's a way to improve it. You just have to ask those questions and ask them to the right people, and they will help you. And if they don't, guess what? That person's not worth your time in general, and somebody else out there will be willing to help you along the way. And I was fortunate enough that in this community, there were a ton of people that I met that were willing to help me. So just remember that asking questions isn't a bad thing. So let's go on to the next match, where I believe I'm A5. So I'm a whole tier better at this point, and let's see how, you know, I did. Obviously, in this match, you can see that I at least was trying to slow my movement down. That was probably the biggest thing. I was trying to slow it down, trying to understand how to get in. Obviously, it didn't work out for me, but we'll see how it works out in the next match. All right, guys, here we go. I am now an A5 player going against another pro level S player. And they are masters, obviously, and I don't do that bad if I remember correctly, but let's check it out and break it down. So like you see, I'm using my fireballs, I'm using my pokes to try to make it harder for them to approach, right? Like I'm actually throwing moves out there with a purpose. Obviously, I end up getting hit here. I'm playing against a grappler, and I didn't really know how to play against Ladiva at this time, so I do get kind of smoked. But right at the beginning, you could tell that I was making substantial improvements. Obviously, using that 5U there, I'm still using that here and there, which is not great, but I'm using it less, which is good. But here I go, a nice jump at the start. Right there, that was perfect. I did 2 hits of auto combo, realized it was no longer my turn, and it was okay. I know that my fireball is plus. I know that I can frame trap with the last hit of my Rekka, but if they block it, I'm minus. But I was going for, you know, the mix and hoping that they mash there. If not, I take a lot of damage, which in hindsight isn't the best decision, but there was thought behind that decision, and that is what is important. But I'm starting to understand certain things. Obviously, I'm getting grabbed a lot. I'm getting, you know, having a hard time against this. I'm trying to DP it, but obviously Max Summon was the better player. And again, I get smoked. But the neutral was better. Me using pokes was better. Me trying to apply some sort of pressure was better. It just didn't work out because it wasn't refined and they could read me like a book. That's another thing, is starting to develop a game plan. At this point, I didn't really have a game plan, right? My game plan was sort of, you know, try to hit certain buttons, try to space them away from me. What I do after that, I don't know. But I had no game plan, essentially, and I'm just trying to go out there and make things happen. But I was improving. Another important thing to note is at this time, I understand just a little bit of frame data, not too much. Right? I understand that my fireball makes me plus after my auto combo block string. So now I'm starting to fit a little bit of frame data in there for myself while not really knowing the frame data of other moves yet, other than, hey, I can DP some of these moves to get out of. That's all I knew. So keep that in mind as frame data is starting to slowly creep its way in and starting to be more and more important. Alright guys, here we go. In this one, I am S5, so I am a whole tier better. Let's see how this skill is going to translate against Omniscythe, who again is a very, very good player, a pro level player. That's another thing. I've been playing against a lot of these better players, and I'm making improvements. Let's see how those improvements shape out here against Omniscythe. So obviously, we're letting these intros, but never mind, we ain't letting these intros rock. But here we go. I got my new skin, I got my new weapon, let's go. As you guys can see, I'm kind of like hopping back and forth. I'm using my pokes, I'm going into my Rekka. Obviously, that is able to be punished. I'm getting schmixed by grabs, I'm getting hit by fireballs. But at the beginning, I was using my movement to try and create openings. And I think that's something that people overlook a lot is I always have somebody asking me, and it's my one buddy, you know, how do I get in? How do I create these openings? Well, movement is one of the best things that you can do to create these openings, to get hits, to mix your opponent up. You can mix your opponent up with movement. I did it right there, right? Little jump in into super, and it's like I'm kind of going toe-to-toe right now. Like, this game is very, very close. And look what I did. On Wake Up, I tried to throw a normal out, thinking that they might mash. Obviously, Omniscythe makes an incredible read here. He knows that I'm going to use Fireball because I know that it makes me plus, and he noticed that I was doing it after an auto combo or after my pokes. So he knew that there was a good chance that I was going to do that, so he took that risk. He reacted to it, he took that risk, right? But here we go. Right there, I mash. Again, nice little combo in the mid screen. And look, I'm applying pressure. I'm applying stagger pressure, right? And it's where you just, stagger pressure is just where you delay your hits just a little bit to see that if they're mashing, right? Obviously, now you're starting to see that maybe I'm starting to jump too much. That is the one thing I notice. And I am notoriously bad for this, jumping. I jump way too much. And there I drop a very meaningful combo that could have put him in a throw range and maybe possibly killed him, right? Would have ended the round, would have, you know, been it for me. But instead, I'm left in this situation. And that's one thing I want to tell you guys about. Is I was very, very close here. I was very close to the rest of the sets, right? Like, I was making improvement. And this is what kept pushing me forward. Now, mind you, this was just me taking an hour or 2 hours out of my night, right? When I'm relaxing, going in, just playing games. Blabbing, playing games, watching replays. I think once I started hitting A5, right, I started getting some minor bod reviews done, right? And in S5, I definitely started getting some VOD reviews done. Some great guys took me under their wing and were helping me understand the concepts of fighting games and give me the concepts of, like, you know, this Grand Blue Zone. And it was like this concept of where you should be playing at, where your poke should be, where is kind of like the danger zone where you're playing with fire, right? And at this point, improvements are being made. So in the next video that I show you guys, you're going to notice that things are starting to become a lot different. Things are starting to become more consistent. You're seeing that now. It's just a few minor drops here and there, a couple mistakes that, you know, if I clean up, I'm not in this situation to where if I drop this combo, maybe I'm okay. But there, it was not okay to drop that combo, and ultimately led to me losing that round, right? So instead, I end up getting last hit and knocked out for that round. So let's move on to the next video and see how things go for me there. All right, guys, here we go. This is probably one of the best tournament sets that I ever played, and this is where I truly start to make that turning point. Seth is an incredibly good player. Probably right under that Pro S player, but this is a player that was top 8ing a lot of brackets, right? And here I am not doing very good. Nobody expected me to win, right? I was the underdog. So let's kind of like look through this match. I might actually end up playing this whole thing because this is an incredible match and it was truly, truly fun. So here you go. I understand my conversions, right? I'm going into some Oki here. I'm doing my overheads, right? I'm moving with purpose. I'm slower. I'm more methodical. I'm going for tick throws. I'm going for pokes, right? But here we go, the start of the second round. I'm going for a little frame trap there, trying to see if he'll mash. I do a spot dodge there. I know with that follow-up, I can spot dodge that and get a punish. So it's like, I'm starting to recognize moves that can be beaten, right? There's a way to beat these moves. There's a way to, you know, slow your gameplay down and just start to make better decisions for yourself. Like, maybe not right there, but where I baited the parry by just not moving, right? I just blocked after a move because they thought I was going to continue going, right? These mind games that you start to develop once you get better. And here I am. I'm playing patient there for a little bit. I decide, hey, let's go for my install. And now I'm going to work on my neutral. And I noticed that, hey, that was negative, but he has a parry, so I have to account for that, which I didn't. But I go for a spot dodge into some Oki here, run up, grab. As you can see, I'm starting to do things with purpose. I have setups. I have way better neutral. I know that if certain moves I do counter hit, I have a chance. Obviously, right there was no need for me to DP, right? I was going for a 50-50, and I was really, really bad at these 50-50s for a long time. Anytime I was on low HP, I wouldn't slow the game down. I would just rip my DP, and more often than not, it would lose me matches and rounds, as you guys just saw there. But as you can see, I'm more patient. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm mashing on certain things, right? Or as they would call a barre. But there you go. That move's negative. I knew he didn't have his DP up, so I'm just going after it, right? I'm going into install. But everything has a purpose now. Like, I'm trying to land pokes. I'm trying to throw out buttons to stop their approaches. I'm trying to make the opponent uncomfortable. And again, I want you guys to understand this, that most of this improvement was over my first 2 2 years, I'll say. Maybe 2.5-ish, right? But most of this improvement that I was making was over the first 2 years. Like, I'm grinding, I'm showing improvement. Like, you can do this in not much time at all, as long as you apply yourself and you just have fun. Like, I was just having fun getting better. And this is where I truly started to take off. After I won this match, it changed me in my fighting game journey forever. Because it told me that I could do this. But as you can see here, look at that. That's one thing that's important, right? Knowing when you can... See, these guys didn't think I was going to win. But again, knowing that I could throw that move out and be okay, I just have to block afterwards because it's only -2, right? I could block after that and be okay. But if I threw that out and he gets hit or counter hit, I get a full combo. So it's like knowing things like that. Like, I'm starting to process information like this. I know some frame data, more frame data than I did before. And I knew some things that were punishable, right? Which really helps on defense. But I beat a Seox, and now he's switching to Ladiva. So let's see how I fare in this second match of the set. So on round start's also very important. I'm doing things that matter. Right there, I land a poke into a confirm. That's super important. I mixed him up with a setup afterwards, and now I have him in the corner. And now I'm at the advantage, and I have to keep this pressure going, right? Obviously, Ladiva's 2U is insane. It's basically a DP. At the time, I didn't know that. You guys can see I'm just doing like these little pokes, right? These little pokes into these little confirms, or these little pokes that I think might be blocked into, like, you know, my Dark Cane, my little stabby move. It whittles them down over time, and that stuff is super important. It doesn't have to be the flashy combos, right? It can be these little pokes, these little advantages over time that lead to, you know, bigger rewards, and to the point where you may only have to hit one corner combo to end a set, right? That one final decision might land you the match because you did poke them down over time. You applied this damage and this pressure, right? So as you can see, I'm having a little bit of a rougher time with Ladiva, and I've had a rough time with Ladiva a lot at this point. Grapplers in general, I still didn't know how to really play against them, so this was a good set. I had a better idea from before, the first time I fought, like, Max Sama. Like, I could DP some of the headbutts. You know, some of them I had to hold because I believe it goes -2, even, and +2, right? But I thought it was, like, right there, I thought it was going to be something else, but it wasn't. I thought it was going to be the launch one or the fireball one, but it was not. But obviously, I get 2U'd over and over and over again, and let's see if I make any adjustments in the next match. But as you guys can see, it's like I'm starting to hang with these players, right? And I was even starting to hang with these players a little bit beforehand, too. So, like, we're all just trying to improve, right? And I was improving over time with my peers, which is awesome, because then, you know, competition gets better, they get better, I get better, it's all good. But here we go. I'm getting tossed around again. I'm getting tossed again, right? I'm struggling. At this point, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was feeling a little bit nervous. Like, hey, man, like, why am I throwing this away? I need to prove these guys wrong. But here we go. Oh, obviously, I go for a throw. I can't remember if I take this back or not, but right there. That's another thing that you have to understand with grapplers that I was trying to apply there, is that you don't want to be near grapplers at all, but you definitely don't want to be near them when they have 100% meter, because they will super command grab you and destroy you. So just an important note to, you know, help you guys out with grapplers out there. But here we go. Obviously, my combo are getting a lot better. They could be way better at this point, but they're getting a lot better, right? I'm applying pressure. I'm making them afraid to press buttons, right? And that's important, because once you make your opponent afraid or make them second guess, that's when you can really start applying your pressure. Notice how I blocked that 2U there. Notice how I backed off after my block string and just blocked, knowing that they 2U'd 3 times in a row last time and I could get the punish there. That's another big thing in fighting games, is learning how to make adjustments over time. So when you have this game plan, like right now, I'm starting to formulate kind of a game plan for myself, like the things that I'm looking for that I want to do. Like right there, I'm setting up a setup. I know that if I hit the overhead, I get a full confirm, and then I can do something like I'm doing right now, right? But the important thing is starting to create a game plan and being able to adapt on the fly and alter that game plan. It's fine to have a basic game plan, everybody does, but being able to alter that and have ways that you can adjust your game plan is super important. And there you guys go. I just 2-0'd Seth. And for me, that was a crucial turning point in fighting games and my fighting game career for me. It let me know at that moment that, hey, I can do this. The things that I'm doing are paying off. And, you know, eventually I go on to hit Master Rank in the OG Grand Blue. Eventually I go on to hit it, and I'm top 8ing a lot of my tournaments by the end of Grand Blue, which is awesome, right? Because I started off as this guy that, you know, was C and worked his way all the way up. And I just want to show you guys one more match and from a tournament, and then I have one more to go over because I want to show you what it looks like nowadays from a match I played recently that I think you guys would enjoy just to see the progression, right? I want you guys to see the progression over time. All right, guys, as you can see, I'm in losers finals here against Deep Fried Chicken, and this was super cool for me because this is a tournament where I actually ended up taking second. I could have took first, but obviously the player that beat me was just better, and that's okay. I was a little bit bummed at the time, but I probably won't show this whole set. But I want you guys to kind of see. This was also a super crazy set. Absolutely insane. So, as you guys can see, I'm starting to play a little bit defense. I'm doing Oki setups. I'm blocking fireballs. I'm trying to inch my way forward. My play overall is a lot cleaner than it was in the last bracket, right? I'm anti-airing with DPs because that's one thing I kind of sucked at. So one thing I would do is just try to anti-air with DPs to just get anything, right? Obviously nowadays my anti-airs are way more punishing, but back then it's just simply me realizing like, hey, I'm not great at anti-airs, but I know I can DP him. I was just DPing him because that's still deters people, right? And that's an important thing to know, is like, hey, you might not be getting a ton of damage with your DP or with, you know, with your DP with an anti-air, but it's making them think like, hey, I can't just jump in on this guy. And that's what you want to do. You want to make these, you know, these players that you're going against fear you in a sense, because that's when you are able to start doing things like I just did there into a command grab setup. They tried to spot dodge. Whether, you know, they would have got hit by Lumi anyway, but I get a free install now and I don't have to use my meter for it, which is massive, by the way. So here we go. I'm doing pokes. I'm doing my overhead setup, and I'm pretty much just running away with this at this point, right? And I can't remember if I win this one or not. I know this one goes to a game 3. No, a game 5, I think. But I ended up being out on top. I ended up winning this one. I don't know if I end up winning this one entirely. Obviously, I'm trying to chip them out here. It doesn't work. And I noticed that they try to go for something crazy. I block it and I punish it. So as you guys can see, like, things are even coming more together now. I'm anti-airing. I'm playing neutral. I'm poking better. I'm landing my setups. I'm applying pressure, and I'm making the opponent play on the back foot. I'm running good offense. Obviously, I could run it better, but I'm starting to put everything together, and I'm starting to get rewarded for it. Now, I can't remember exactly where this was. I think this was probably about 3 years in. But at this point, it's like, wow, 3 years in, and I'm starting to get it. Like, I'm getting there, right? And this is just like small stuff over time. And I want you guys to remember is that you can't get here without starting. So even if you're starting out now, simply don't give up. Like, you can do this. If somebody like myself can do it, I know that other people can do it as well. So I just want you guys to realize this, and I kind of wanted to show like progression over time, because I don't think people get to see like, hey, this guy was awful at once. They don't get to see that. So I want to just like, I wanted to show you that today. And I have one more video I want to show you guys where I am Masters and I'm going against another Masters player, and you guys can kind of see what's happening. All right, guys, I'm playing against my buddy Cryptic here, and we're both Master players. This is me just recently getting into Masters and Rising, and I want you guys to honestly just see the difference. I'm sorry about the audio. I'm not sure why it's so weird, but bear with it. So as you can see, I'm kind of getting rocked here a little bit, right? Willness is a new character at this point, and I'm trying to figure the matchup out, even though I think I ended up losing our first 10 or whatever anyway. But the one thing I wanted to note is that all the matches were extremely, extremely close. So I end up blocking the U skill, and here we go. This is where I start mounting kind of a comeback, right? I go for the jump in because I know that they're not expecting it because I've been blocking a lot. And I'm going to go for a super cool setup here, right, with Vera. And it actually ends up netting me the kill. And that's another thing. Even when you have no HP and they have a full bar, do not give up, because that match is not over yet, right? I used my super there to knock down his bravery crystals, right? And then go for the setup, because I knew once I hit my last bravery on them that they had nothing left to counter that, right? But here we go. Obviously, I'm getting absolutely messed up here. But there I go. I'm using my DP to get out of pressure. I'm using my dash L, my dash L, my 6-6-L as they would call it. And I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Obviously, the overheads are coming over. And the weird thing about Willness, right, is that Willness has a high and a low that looks the same, right? And here we go. I hit a nice combo there. That's another thing, guys, that I want you guys to notice, is that my combos are getting more consistent. I'm very rarely dropping these. Obviously, everybody drops a combo once in a while, but they're less. Because the thing that you have to remember is that the advantages that you do get, you have to take advantage of them, right? You have to get the most that you can out of that situation, because in the long run, it ends up that, you know, you have to get less hits in order to win. But if your opponent's dropping combos, that means they need more hits to win. So you're creating an advantage for yourself as long as you don't drop anything, right? As you can see, against Willness, if you make one mistake, your health bar explodes. But there I am using my bravery points, and yeah, just running some neutral here. Kind of waiting to see what, you know, they would do. There, I saw the overhead animation, and I went for the DP. I'm blocking, I'm spot dodging, I'm trying to work my way in. I'm doing these little pokes. See how these little pokes? Like, I was down in HP, but now it's getting closer and closer and closer, which is huge. So, like, that's another thing, is, like, those pokes matter, guys. Now I get hit by another combo, and now I'm playing on the back foot again. The match is still very close. I walk up, I tick throw. That's another important concept to know. And I notice that they have no bravery left. I can use that after my Lumi to seal the deal. All right, guys, I'm going to kind of give my final thoughts here and just kind of yap a little bit while this match plays in the background. So the important thing that I hope you guys got out of this is that I started off my journey being absolutely terrible, but the one thing that I never did was quit, right? There were times where I might have taken a break and given myself time to go play other games or other fighting games, and that's the one thing that I would encourage you to do. Take breaks, because if you're sitting there constantly trying to, you know, quote-unquote, smash your head against the wall, you're never going to get anywhere, and it can actually be more of a detriment than a help, right? So I hope that you guys kind of at least saw that journey over time, and that wasn't, you know, over a couple months. This is over 5 years, right? This is matches that you're seeing in year 5 of me playing. Obviously, my Beatrix here, I'm still an S++1, but I do end up hitting masters on her, and now I am a multi-master level player and at 2 characters, which is really cool, right? But the major thing is like, if you never start, right, or if you start and you just end up quitting, then you'll never get to this level. And, you know, another thing that I want to make very, very clear is that sometimes your goal doesn't have to be this. My goal was to be the best that I could be, and I wanted to be able to be a pro and hang with these pro level type players. Am I there? A little bit. But am I fully there? Not quite, right? I can hang with them. I can beat them here and there. But there's room for me to improve. But what I'm also trying to say is that if your goal is simply to go in and just have fun and maybe reach, like, I don't know, like A rank in Grand Blue or S rank in Grand Blue, and you're totally fine with that, and that's all that you want, that's awesome. Or if you're playing like 2x KO, right? And your goal is to hit gold, that's awesome. I just want you guys to understand that if you quit or never start, these things can never happen for you. So, alright guys, before I let you go, I just hope that this video out there encourages somebody to keep on their journey, to keep on their path, and striving to be the best that they can be. Fighting games can be fun, no matter your skill level or your goals that you have in mind. Just remember to stick with it, and taking breaks is okay. I hope that my journey has at least inspired somebody to keep going, whether it is maybe one of my friends or it is somebody out there trying 2xKO or another fighting game for the first time and they want to be better. I hope that this video reaches you and, you know, lets you know that, hey, that you can do it. That was my main goal for this video, and I just don't want you guys to give up when things get tough. So let me know down below what your fighting game journey has been like, any tips that help you improve along the way, and, you know, just maybe general questions that you have or things that, you know, that helped me and you want to know what those were more in depth. Ask me. I'm always willing to help. My Discord is down there. If you guys ever want help, I'm always there for you guys. So if that's something that you want, obviously join that. And if you guys are enjoying this content and you want to see more, please consider subscribing to my YouTube, following me on Twitch where I do stream fighting games a ton, and giving me a follow on TikTok. Till next time, guys, keep striving to be the best, and see you out there on the battlefield. Peace.